Trying to maintain some semblance of control over Matchin as it still stays inside of zone. We did see KGV, who are a bit of a blender. They did get full wiped there in 14th. Missing a few teams on the map. Falcon still here, NIP still here, Leviathan still here and still fighting. A moment for all of these teams to try to pick up a couple kills. Criminal God does get cut down. Anxiety's trying to find something in the regain here at Mansion. Yet again, in a blender, G2 getting pushed out of mid, going to Mansion and getting cut down immediately as well. G2, they did get a flyer up onto the map, but that's about it. Scythe way off in the distance now in deep trouble as Showstoppers continuing to hunt down G2 and will get it in time. G2 gone. A frustrating Havens Hollow for a team that traditionally puts up solid points.
I'm sure that's something that you're going to go back to the drawing board to figure out what the heck just happened with our Havens. Back-to-back bombs over towards Mansion. So moving around for day 2. Will that be a change up for G2? Looking over towards train station. We do have Gentlemates looking to move into the coal depot, actually, to see if they can play up against Godlike, who wanted to rotate away from Research to look for some positioning outside the circle and some safety nets. But Gentlemates are breathing down their necks, and they are looking to dominate the south side.
Yeah, I mean, this time, this is where they land, right? So this time they get to stay put for a while rather than rotating towards Mansion. The zone has pulled east as Ahsoka wins a nice one over the top. And then Niazi's back to the lobby as well. Still looking for our first multiplier here with one more. As all 3 members of the Falcons still up. Donkey on 6. So doing a better job this time to find kills. At least on 8 as a trio. And actually, I'll call it 7. Noobs with not a kill to his name yet. 1 for Soka, 6 for Dongi. So need one more to match last map. And then they got second. Plenty of room still to find some more kills on the map, especially still having to fight through NIP and Leviathan.
You actually we were hyping up JDG. They're starting to get contested by AGAL, who've just been sitting up in barns. So you look at JDG, who've been fantastic on this rotation through the streets in towards Research across this stream. AGAL are trying to prove to be an issue, and they're actually pinching them between 3 other trios. So if JDG, if this gets messy for you, you have potential to get third party. You got to be very careful with your next move.
Unfortunately, holders get held, man. They just rotated too late. They were trying to hold the western side of the map, picked up a couple kills in transition, but then were too late to move. Now they're getting held. Classic Warzone story to see if AGAL can find their way out of it. Certainly JDG continue to find kill after kill. It's actually a PA that cleans up 1 of this Leviathan roster, but they're striking back. Criminal God has found an angle. He's on 4. He's going to try to push this fight, especially with Slappy down. Even though Dark's out, he could find that frag, doesn't get it. Gonna get actually a buyback on Dark, not wasting any time.
Yeah, this is gonna be important for Leviathan as well as JDG to find some sort of positioning inside of Research. Criminal God's gonna get picked off by the Precision, so that buyback does not make a difference. Still just 2 players left for Leviathan, but with players starting to move away from the Mansion and Barn, you just cannot be in this position right now for your Leviathan. You gotta find some space in Research.
Let's do a quick listen in with the Falcons to see what's going on in their heads.
D2, fuck up. Eddie, keep watching the attic. You should try to zip up in the attic, Eddie. And just stare glitch it.
Go on. I haven't heard shit. There's a guy G2 side.
Yo, crossing out G2 here. That's showing them. That's show. Okay.
We cracked him, 1 shot.
Okay, I'm gonna try to take space. Yeah, the team Mansion went to G2. At least a couple of them.
Small plats, breeze, small plats.
Shooting me from the train. We gotta cross again. The other kid in front is gonna shell us. Oh, I'm gonna try to cross again one more time.
The guy on your left. I cracked him on your left. 1 shot on the train. Knocked him.
I heard you. Stay there, Dong. Stay there, Dong. And the red train card on my danger. Be careful your right. Okay, I heard you.
Knocked on green ping.
I heard you. I'm trying to stay down. Yo, Ed, your small might be clear. Like clear. I can't lie.
I think it is.
There's at least 2 G2. That's one of them. Nice. Another one here at the red train car. Red train car.
I got one of them.
He's almost cracked it. Cracked him in the red train car. Okay, I heard you. They could be under you, small Eddie. Yeah, we're missing 1. There's 1 G2. We're missing.
What did we hear from the comms? A ton of intel pointing out where do we go, how do we get there, which teams are crossing, and which ones can we pick off in transition. Through all of those comms, they got a ton of intel and 2 kills to boot, and we can actually see they are the only team now on the north side outside of Research, so they're going to be outside looking in. Look at this zone pull. They're actually going to be in zone playing for multi now. The question is, can they pick up more kills?
Yeah, you can choose whether or not to play towards the waterfall, play towards the back trains. You got a lot of people going to be walking in front of you with AG Global still trying to vie for some position over towards the top shack. They're going to walk right into Gentlemates, actually still fighting for the south side. This is something that they did back in game 1. They're doing it once again. FIFA Kill brings it into a 2-on-2 for this battle.
FIFA Kill in a great spot over the top and actually almost scams. Grom gets out in the open for a hair too long to get the buyback. And it would have been a loss to go for that buy and not stay alive. Can he get anything for it? FIFA get cut down by the Falcons, though, and Grom trades. Ikio picks up the final on night. Down go AGAL with a little bit of help from the Falcons. The Gentlemates win an engagement that shouldn't have been very difficult. They're able to find their way out, and now they own the western side of the map. The Falcons, the north. Everybody else is a dead center of research.
Yeah, both Gentlemates and Falcons have great position outside of research, and you imagine that the zone most likely is going to pull away from this building. So with Gentlemates on the ultimate height, they're going to be able to watch anybody who wants to leave this. But first, we're going to look at the Gentlemates.
Gentlemates selling one yet again to play out in the open. Falcons doing a great job to pick up these easy kills. Again, that's 3 different kills. Basically, can they get another one? Master 5K with a little bit of an assist there. Puts the Gentlemates down to 1. Out in the open proves difficult for the Gentlemates to find what piece of cover they need to stick behind, getting shot from multiple angles. And now Hollow's going to wait out this next zone pull. And it goes outside of research, or at least mostly. The Falcons, yet again with a zone pull, find themselves into a power position, waiting on everybody else. And usually you would say, much like last map, this is a bit too slow for them for these points to matter, but they've found 4 or 5 now, just by people being too far out in the open and Dongy shooting straight. But look at research.
That's 7 trios still existing inside of research. And Falcons, their ultimate height is still going to be in that circle. So Gentlemates are looking for position inside the rankings, but no, they're going to get caught. Hollow's out. Gentlemates are out. No back-to-back for the Gentlemates. And now with the Falcons, all they got to do is wait to see what comes out from this research.
This is where Orchid lands. They play up near research. Been battling in a position here since the very beginning of the map. It's actually Leviathan getting full team wipes off screen. Volcom now on screen, getting traded out from the backside. Master 5K here as well, finding the angle on Volcom's back. From a roster that has been deadly since Atlanta. We'll see what NIP can do, who also made a great rotation to the bottom side here of research. I'm going to trade out, actually. Looks like at least 1 player of Gamax.
And inside this final circle, you got Falcons, NIP, and Leviathan all rounding out that top 5 of this leaderboard still. So this would be a big game for if any of them can walk away with a win.
Good grief, look at this zone. Falcons actually lose 1 in transition. A great find over the top from Orchid. Again, they've had this height position on research that gives them a bunch of intel over the top. And actually just going to go for the kill. Swizzen full sends this. Picks up 1. Should pick up 2, no problem. The third, though, Showstopper makes a big play on Swizzen. Orchid at least lose 1 with a very aggressive play. We say you got to play for kills, but look at the placements. You cannot fall in 6th here. You need the multiplier. Sario's running straight into danger. Swizzen barely alive and barely breathing, but finding kills. He's still alive. As NIP also on 1 HP to Dream. Showstopper using all of his stims to stay up for a moment, and then finally goes down. JDG striking, and all of a sudden we went from 6 teams to 2, and the Falcons have their prey in their talents. The Falcons win game 2 after a 2nd place game 1.
That was a cluster of energy that went into that last final circle. You can't say that for the Falcons. They're chilling everybody down. But research was busy, and you had teams fighting for that win to see if they can get themselves through that top 3 into that number 1 pole position, exiting Haven's Hollow. JDG with a 2nd place finish. That is going to be big for them as they were sitting in 3rd place going into that 2nd game. And with Leviathan as well, looking to knock down Gentlemates, looking to knock down NIP. I can't wait to see what this does to our standings.
Yeah, that's gotta feel good if you're the Falcons. Play through Mansion, play up at a just diabolical research zone.
Free.
And then they get the pulls again. There's something about this Falcons team, man. They get the pulls every single time. Now, traditionally speaking, when we see the zone pull up towards research, you don't see a research building ending. It does usually pull out. And I mean, I have to say this. I'm gonna get made fun of in the green room because I use this every broadcast. But the layer cake that is Research Center is truly the best way to describe what happened. You counted out 7 teams all stacked on top of each other, and I like the aggressiveness from some of these rosters to just full tilt, full sin, knowing they need the points, because they're just trying to get top 5. I mean, you need kills. Why not just full sin and see what happens?
You got to give a lot of respect to the teams that were able to make it into research. You had Leviathan there who dropped Mansion.
NIP.
They were scrambling to get some regain. You had NIP also dropping struggled to regain back over towards research, but they got it done. And JDG, who starts over by Church pretty much in the Straits bowling alley, and they make it all the way across to research to make it into top 2. Like, that is tippy out of these teams to survive.
Well, listen into the celebrations at the end of this one.
Good shot. That's it. Come on. It's tough though. Come on. Good shot.
Textbook. No huge celebrations because they knew they were going to win that one. I mean, they had it in the bag for a while. Last 3 zones even, especially when they picked up Gentlemates in transition. Golly. That's got to be a brutal one for the Gentlemates who desperately wanted to go back-to-back, but they still put up a couple kills. Everything was mostly fine. I think the biggest question mark is G2 coming out of Haven's Hollow, probably near bottom of the leaderboard. Wild to even say that out loud for a team that's been dominating on a map like this. We'll see whether they're able to swing back in their form in Rebirth Island.
You gotta chalk it up a little bit to that zone pull RNG as well. I mean, how unlucky is it that you drop Riverboat back-to-back and you're forced to rotate early into Mansion in both games? Like, that is not easy for anybody to do. Yeah. And in game 2, like, you just look at the way that JDG is playing, you look at the way that AG Global are playing, and the way that they're able to command the middle of the map through Barn. Like, you are making a rotation there if you're G2 across some very strong slaying, some very strong gatekeeping teams. So it's like, you're walking out of Havens, like, that was a tough game. I hope that they don't hang their heads low, because it's a bad scenario. It's unlucky.
But yeah, especially when JDG is playing like this. JDG picked up 7th in Atlanta, but since then have been looking like they're in final form, including today. It's a good call. G2 did play from the south side of the map to the north, both maps. Technically speaking, Rebirth Island has actually been their best map through the course of the series. So they're actually, I believe, one of the top-ranked teams on Rebirth Island as well. And today, I would even venture to say there's a chance they could be free because they play up at Bio, and not a lot of teams are playing Bio these days. Well, with all of that in mind, though, so many fun conversations. There's a lot more we got to talk about. We're going to take a very quick look at some content as we get into Game 3 here shortly and take a look at Rebirth Island.
He can come in here and play my game. Let's go. He knows nothing. Let's go! Tyler Wine, you're done. Raw energy. Blow the house down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Esports World Cup 26. Miles and Enigma here. We're with the Gentlemates fans. Not a bad map.
No, not at all. Great map one, of course, for them. They've got to see their team take that map here in Paris, France. We knew that they would be under a lot of pressure, but when you're backed by a crowd like this, you feel that passion, you feel that blood run through your veins, and you're ready to step out and deliver, and they're doing exactly that.
Now, I want to ask a fan here, sir, what do you think the squad need to do to find the win?
Je pense qu'ils doivent se servir de l'énergie du public. Ils savent quoi faire, c'est le meilleur roster du monde et nous on sera là pour les soutenir et ils vont tout arracher.
Bonne chance, bonne chance. Did you get that?
Picked up about 4 words. I'm working on it. I'm getting a little bit better with the French. A word here and there, Thomas in particular, helps me out a little bit, but I'll be honest with you now, I'm a little bit lost.
The Duolingo is not helping. I mean, what do you think, though, of the match so far? Falcons obviously sitting up top there. A big 21.
Yeah, I think the second map in particular showed classic Falcons. They rotate out of action, take the north side of the zone, and walk in with the gas and lock everybody else out. It's what they do. They've been doing this for years. So can the closer for good reason. There is, of course, going to be great competition for them here. But while they look like that, we can expect them through to Sunday.
And he is my resident subject matter expert. I mean, as we saw in Group A, Group B here as well, it seems to be the top dogs on top so far. Are you expecting much of a change in the next few months?
No. I think that we are seeing those sides that were under pressure deal with that incredibly well. We have, of course, got your Falcons, your Twisted Minds up towards the top. I don't see that changing much. And to be fair, when you sit in this room and you feel the energy, any team that's going to come into this an underdog, you're going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable when these fans are doing incredible things to back their sides and not wanting you to do anything out there on the map.
A huge thank you to all the fans who have turned up here. The noise you are making is something very, very special. We've still got plenty of games to play here on the first day of Warzone, but mate, any surprises? Anything that shocked you as a real resident Warzone player?
I think the Ninjas in Pajamas are just being incredibly bold and aggressive, getting at the Falcons and taking it to them. Fair play, we want to see it right now. Top teams on top.
We are ready to roll. Can we get one more, gentlemates? How are we feeling? Going in to the next map. It's back to the casters.
All right, gentlemates, so loud I can't hear myself think, and that's the way we want it here in France, folks. Paris has been a dream. Haven's Hollow, a dream for some, and a nightmare for others. You see teams like NIP on top of our leaderboard by a couple points over Falcons, with JD Gaming in third overall. Gentlemates still finding their way to top 5 with Leviathan. But, I mean, we got godlike new icons down at the bottom of the leaderboard trying to turn things around going into Rebirth Island.
I think that we knew that a couple of these rosters coming out from regions that may be a little bit less practiced than, NA and EU, who've been at WRS for, Birmingham and Atlanta. Like, it would be a little bit of tough. Godlike's a big surprise. You didn't get to see too much of Nate Dogg or Intex really kick off. They were just scrambling off the gates yet again back on Rebirth, or on Haven's Hollow. But now we go to Rebirth Island and we see if a lot of these teams can maybe bounce back after those first 2 maps. Maybe it was a little bit unlucky zone pulls. You guys struggled to get those rotations going. We talked about that with G2, and I think a lot of people will be looking at going into the second wave with a different mindset.
All right, biggest question in my mind is where the heck are the Falcons dropping? They usually drop Kim alone. Nobody likes to contest them, but did they change things up just to put everybody on their heels? Rebirth Island is here, folks. We've seen it 1,000 times and likely we'll see it 1,000 more, but today, only twice. We get into the first map. Will G2 be alone up at Bio? Will the Gentlemates be alone in living quarters? And will the Falcons land right on top of the Gentlemates' head just to throw them off balance? Let's drop in to our first Rebirth Island map of Group B. It does look like the Falcons are returning to form up at Kim all alone.
Yeah, they're going to have Fnatic just below them in Harbor, and Orchid maybe giving them a look from top of Prison. G2 back to basics over at Bio. A lot of teams just kind of sitting down looking for their drop spots. The big thing's going to be Stronghold for me, because you look at Gentlemates, who had a fantastic Haven's Hollow. They drop living quarters and they're already contesting Lev down low and strong.
And we'll swing over there when we get the chance, but of course we got to take a look at Control Center. It's hotly contested in both groups. And even in this one, Trick Empathy, we talked about Godlike, we talked about a team at the bottom of the leaderboard. Trick Empathy is one of an individual basis, one that usually is at the top. As an individual, has been a hero for this team, and a lot of folks have been chattering about what he could be able to do even with a different roster. Today, that roster's struggling on the chaos of Haven's Hollow. We take a look, though, at maybe what they could do from boat. Here's a look at the factory side as we take a look at, looks like maybe VC could get active here and go play for somebody else. The problem is they're getting stabbed in the back just repeatedly by the Falcons who are bored. So do need to be careful about this factory play. When the Falcons get comfortable, they do swing up on JDG and win an engagement, a 3v1 with one more outside. JDG do need to stay alive if they can, and they're actually in deep trouble. They're third up floating in the skies.
Yeah, he's just going to float his way on down, let everybody else research, just get back into the flow of things. JDG had a fantastic map 1 and map 2. Don't expect them to fall so early on Rebirth. All 16 teams still alive. Everybody's looking for their loadouts, and for VC, they're going to be primed and ready to go in the docks of Factory. Leviathan, who are out in Stronghold. Yeah, it went up against Mates. It looks like they're going to go up against Mates yet again.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic, right? Gentlemates up at living quarters. Leviathan down in Stronghold. Striking first. Criminal God, the Fragger, coming up to get busy. Their anchor nice and safe in Stronghold with no one within a country mile. So let's send the rookie out to go make some big plays. Doing great today. Let's see if they can keep up that momentum. This is feeling a lot more like Birmingham for this roster and a lot less like Atlanta.
And that's what we want to see out of Criminal God, especially vying for that Rookie of the Year position. Gentlemates have actually backed all the way down, and you can see that we got a little bit of a push in from AGAL.
For Fun just got wiped, folks. For Fun getting conned at, I think it was Turbine still. Nothing changed for them, but they're losing the early engagement. A lot of eyes on For Fun to step up in a big way in a stronger lobby. So far, not the case. See if they can turn things around in the second map of Rebirth, as they are the first team out. Trick and Empathy continuing to find some regainers on the outside of Boat. A couple kills here, a couple kills there, maybe all you need as the Aussies swim away.
Group B, not For Fun just yet. So again, we just kind of like look at Rebirth, and a lot of teams have actually been contesting each other on these rotations. I'm still looking at G2. We're looking for the bounce back as they're going to go from the north side in towards Turbine. They've already backed AG Global away. Anxiety has been in the kill feed a lot. KGV, big kills up against Nemesis. Kazu playing into control.
Got a sniper on main, cracking plates, and that's about it. Smash Burger Dad 78 is a ridiculous tag. All right, good luck here, Gooey. I can appreciate the plays. We'll swing back over to the Vicious, see what they're able to do here on the map. Quick look at the map feed, though. You can see where everybody's positioned. G2 was up at Bio. They've elected to rotate in. Looks like Anchor swinging through Industries, getting told that, hey, Turbine's free. Come rotate to us, or we'll hold it down for you while you make your way this direction. Big Man actually finding one in transition as well, so watch out for that G2 roster who desperately needs points. While still on main, the Vicious hunting down a couple solos. A couple of individuals. Fnatic maybe in trouble or causing it. Let's see. One, Resolve gets it, but gets traded out immediately. Great job there from the Vicious. Playing together well here on Rebirth Island.
And Criminal God stays alive just enough for Leviathan to not get outed just yet. Predict trying to keep Solds alive here for VC. Solds just sitting inside the boat. Enough time to their teammates to bring themselves back into the map, but this has been a chaotic Rebirth Island so far, and everybody just crossing paths. Circle still very much central. Nothing really to look at in terms of where do you want to set up this positioning. A lot of teams going to be playing still through Prison for Control, for Factory, Living Quarters. Lots of positions still open. And I think we saw new icons get eliminated there, so we're down to 14 trios now.
Right now, it's an anchor game. Everybody having their fraggers out on the map, try to go get some kills. Godlike in a bit of trouble up here at Boat. Nate Dogg gonna have to be a hero. Trick Empathy plates back up. We're trying to hunt down the last remaining members of this Gamax roster. Maybe a thorn in the side, but at least Godlike haven't had to leave the boat since the beginning of the map, and they found kills to boot. So, hey, keep challenging us is probably what they're saying. We need the points. They're able to all stay up, stabilize, take boat back, and wait for what this new zone offers. They don't really need to move if people keep coming this direction, so they're going to chill here. Look to see if we can swing out. There it is, to Stronghold to see what's going on. The Leviathan have their two fraggers up into the map. They've lost their lives a couple times, one floating back in, it looks like over the top of Living Quarters, but Amir can't really leave. He's in a very strong position if the zone didn't pull up towards Central, like Seymour said, so he's going to have to go for a dip, go for a swim, see if he can find his way up to safety. Unfortunately, there's a couple more folks in the water trying to do the same, as per the usual here on Rebirth Island. So Amir, swim well, my friend, and Godspeed. I just wish you the best.
And when you're in Rebirth Island, when in doubt, swim it out. Leviathan still not eliminated as well. I mean, they still are holding on to their life.
You saw a quick glance up at HQ to see NIP holding down HQ for free. This time, NIP unconned at their usual drop spot at HQ. have a nice power position. The big question is how many kills have they been able to pick up through the course of this map as Zedar continues to swim for his life. I know we love looking at these folks in the water with the pistol. Wow. I use this stat often. We've been talking about it in the green room. This pistol is the 3rd ranked weapon on Rebirth Island because of this right here. It happens over and over and over again. The people go swimming thinking they can live a bit longer and their teammates can get back to the map, but unfortunately for a team like Gamax, they will finally all get wiped together and therefore be out of the lobby.
Down to 13 trios. Circle heading into the 3rd. Now as we're going to be close to closing that Resurgence pocket. And it's still pretty central. I mean, you got Control Center, Prison, Turbine, lots of places to sit and wait. Big thing is now we have to bring into the conversation teams like Falcons now having to leave Chemical Engineering, move up the mountain, and they're being contested by Orchid, JDG, another team that has to make some moves. They're walking into VC. Predict goes down, Slappy in the feed, alongside Melvin with 2 kills, trying to move their way inside Factory and inside the safe zone.
Quick look back at Control. What's been happening for KGV? Been able to hold down middle Control, just waiting for a team like Godlike to leave this boat. I just see Trick on 7 kills. They haven't left the boat the entire time. What a ridiculous Rebirth Island thus far for a guy. Look at him. 3,000 damage, 7 kills. Criminal God goes down as well. Leviathan in a deep and utter blender, but still on the map. As we just see this team pick up the kills of all the regainers. Hey, it's a strategy. It works. We see a full team rotating in, though, finally maybe contesting Godlike. AGAL, unfortunately, getting cut down in transition by Anxiety, though. FIFA kill down. It's going to be a 2v3 on boat if they want it.
Yeah, this north side through Turbine has been hell so far for AGAL. G2 starts bio. They flip it out. They've just been continuously keeping AGL on their back foot, and moving into a team like Godlike right now is not really what you want to do if you're AGAL. Just trying to look for some space to live. The circle is going to be closing in the next 40 seconds. This is where I'm looking at teams to start to move up the mountain. Teams to look at still Gentlemates sitting in living quarters. It's going to be the slow side. Lots of time to move up. But other teams like Nemesis, who are starting in Stronghold, are going to have to cross into that boat for Godlike and AGAL, and all while getting picked off by a sniper in the hands of Showstopper.
Listen, we've had this conversation about HQ over and over again. If it's uncontested and you can just sit your anchor up at the top of the tower, might as well pull out a sniper and see if you can pick up some free kills. Finally, Leviathan leaves the lobby. This has not been their game, but they've been resilient. Unfortunately, Resilient only gets them 13th, which is basically nothing. So Leviathan going to drop our leaderboard a little bit. Should still be in a decent position, though, especially as we are just now into the 3rd map. Quick look at the map feed, though, does tell the story of what all the action has been showing on main, which is that everybody's been fighting around boat, and Falcons have been bored over on Kim's side. They rotate down towards Factory, look for a bit more, but on screen, NIP, King AJ has 9 kills out of nowhere as JDG get thrown into a blender, and they've got a solo flying in the skies.
NIP are feeling good. I mean, they're having a great start to this Group B. Haven's Hollow, Rebirth Island, it doesn't matter. And King AJ on 9 kills is just looking to keep up that continuous pace. Sitting in headquarters, they're not going to be in the circle right now. They got so much time. They're going to have to cross paths with the Gentlemates at some point, and back in game 1, that was their kryptonite.
Look at G2, though, silently been obliterating this lobby. They desperately needed a good Rebirth Island game, and they've been one of the top teams on Rebirth Island. So let's listen in on G2 and see what they're thinking as they swing into the new zone.
His boys in the bar, his boys gonna work up. It's only 2. It's only 2.
I'm probably dead in the back, bro. No.
It's fine, just double res us. We can go and play placement.
Yeah, down a prison.
They're all fighting though. You can double res. Pop that single.
Oh, walk my left. Prison.
You can buy a muni. Buy a muni for yourself. Land showers and like.
Stop it.
Are you going showers?
Yeah.
Which side? Here. The single.
Right here at the door. Single door.
Let's hold this one.
Great job from G2 to stay alive and quickly get the double buyback playing for positioning. They do get a multi.
And they do find their way into the prison, which is the big deal. They're going to hop into that 2nd floor, see if they can find a circle or find a corner to sit in just to get that position. They're going to be in a great spot to maybe find some ground loot and catch some people in transition.
Gentlemates have found their way into the bottom side of prison. Well done being patient in that rotation. They actually picked up NIP, who got wiped during that listen-in. NIP going to fall down the leaderboard a little bit, although they had a ton of kills. They don't get a single multi from a map that could have been great.
Falcons, I mean, they have to be just whispering in the ear of the circle pull gods, because they get another pull down the mountain. As you see, G2 have not just regained, but they have turned it into lemonade now with what they got.
Holy moly, G2 are fragging right now. We got to see what Orchid could do, though, is actually take one member of G2 down, AGAL and G2 fighting, while Orchid maintains a position on top. Prison. It's a pretty strong position. I think, unfortunately for them, this new zone is going to dictate whether or not this is the right decision or maybe the wrong one. As the Falcons down on the low side, godlike, they've been reaping through the boat, but unfortunately, as they make their way to Prison, they get obliterated. Down go Intex and Nate Dogg. A decent game for them, but they needed a great one. We swing into a top 7 position, need top 5 for the next multiplier, and yet again, the Falcons pulled the zone, and the Falcons are easily in the best position on the map.
Look at the situation that you're seeing from Gentlemates, though. I think they're going to try to swing this all the way down the mountain, get behind the Falcons. So this has got to be where you see the Falcons make a move, but as they do, Sariel's going to catch them. The rookie's showing up.
Yeah, I mean, Orchid and Gentlemates moving at the same time would be the perfect play. It looks like Gentlemates a little bit slow on the rotation, but the Falcons in now trouble as they lose one down to a duo. The third immediately gets back into the lobby, though. So all 3 up, and they win the engagement. Down go to the Gentlemates in 6th, not 5th. Gentlemates lose out on the multi.
That's going to be Orchid, AG Global, Falcons, as well as JD Gaming still alive, and there goes Orchid with Swizzing going down as JD's cleaning up.
JDG on a heater here in Group B, and it's now down to the Falcons and JDG, and the Falcons go back to back, making it look easy with a great zone pull.
I gotta say, it's another one where you just put your headset down and you know that you didn't have to do much to get that top first place spot. It's the Falcons yet again. Get it done on Rebirth Island this time. An easy pull towards chemical engineering. They maybe had to walk like 5 minutes away from their initial drop spots. And as soon as it goes down the mountain, as soon as they contest Gentlemates on leaving Prison, they keep everything north of them, everything ahead of them up that hill. They just allow everybody else to kill each other and clean up what's left.
I mean, it's classic Falcons. A little bit of skill, a lot of luck. Is that what we can say for them? No, it's a lot of both. But at the same time, when you get a zone pull like that, you just can't lose. The only thing that could have gone wrong for them is if Gentlemates and Orchid pushed the exact same time from the flank, but there's no way to know that. The bullets started flying, Gentlemates a hair too slow, and they get caught in transition. Noobs with the perfect read. I think unfortunate for everybody else, there's no way the Falcons are losing that.
I gotta say, there's a couple teams too that I want to talk about in this endgame circle, and it's going to be Orchid, JDG, and AG Global. All had some pretty rough starts this game. AG Global struggling against G2, JDG struggling to get in through Factory, and it all comes back into now walking into the Falcons. You still get good placement and some kills, but just can't close it out.
Well, laughter and comfortability is all I'm hearing over there from the Falcons. I think Ahsoka gave us a yawn, and, you know, frankly, for Group B, it's felt like a bit of a yawn for them, right? They've been rotating early, getting the zone pulls, and just watching everybody die in front of them. Sometimes it's them shooting their guns, and other times it's everybody just killing each other. So I'll be curious to see how many total kills they had as a team. I don't think it was a banger, but taking away that multiplier from other teams is huge. And remember, it's this classic Falcons, man. They went second, first in 3 games. Their average placement in Atlanta was like 3.5. You know, it was a little bit better than 4th on average, and they are obliterating that right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking polished as ever, and nobody would have doubted it. You said it when you're on the desk. It's just, this team is undeniable. And until they start to slow down, like, we cannot just keep them away from talking about how dominant the Falcons are. They're looking good today.
Well, it sounds like we got a quick interview as we get ready for our second Rebirth Island map. Let's take a look.
All right, everybody, I got the man with me here, Vision from Nip. Give him a round of applause as Nip has been firing off on all cylinders. I mean, Vision, how has these first 3 maps been feeling for you? You got the drums going, you're in enemy territory, but at the end of the day, you guys are in first place.
I mean, I just feel like my teammates are playing amazing. Showstopper, AJ. But I feel like our communication is just on point.
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm confident we got first today.
Hey, you should be confident, okay? You are, I want to say you are a kill leader throughout these first 3, but you're definitely the kill leader on your team. Just talk to me about, like, How does it feel? You know, you're playing in these lobbies and you got Falcons going second, first, but you guys are still in first place, mainly because of you. You are the kill leader in these lobbies. I know you had 16 throughout the first 2 maps. I don't know how many you got in the third, but how are you finding that much consistency? Is it just the communication, or what are you doing?
I mean, I just feel like me and AJ are just running around together all the time, so it's just easy. My teammate, he's always supporting me, I support him. But I think we have the same amount of kills, by the way. I think we both have 19.
Okay.
So, you know, we just have good chemistry.
Great chemistry. Now, we saw the chemistry on Rebirth Island with your pacing. What did you learn on Rebirth Island that you're going to keep continuing on into Haven's Hollow in the last map as well?
What was the question again?
I said, when it comes down to your pacing that you guys found on the Haven's Hollow, how are you guys going to take that into the next maps? What did you learn in those first 2 maps that you can take on over to the rest of the maps?
I mean, I think at the moment we don't really have to change that much. Our communication is on point, as I said. The chemistry is on point. And yeah, just a shout out to my teammates. And let's go to the next game.
You heard it here, folks, okay? Shout out to his teammates. Shout out to Nip. They're in first place. Let's see if they can keep it.
World Cup up.
Et on est, mesdames et messieurs, avec les fans de Gentleman. Bon, comment ça se va la 3e game? Pour l'instant, ça se passe pas mal.
Ça se passe super bien. Ouais. On fait le top 1 la première, magnifique. Ça allume la salle un peu, on montre qu'on est chez nous. La deuxième, ça se passe un peu moins bien. Et là, on est en place, j'ai l'impression. Donc,
ça va, yeah, so we're really happy because we have one top 1 on the first game, so it was magnificent. Everybody's just chilling out and everybody's so happy about it. And now the second game was not that good, but we feel kind of good now, so everybody's just sending. So, tu veux chanter évidemment, mais je vais te laisser chanter avec eux. Mais comment est-ce que tu te sens? Un peu moins stressé? Faut être quand même top 5 du groupe, ça va être chaud.
On va y aller. Je veux pas me porter l'œil, mais on va y aller, c'est sûr. Ils sont dans leur match. On y va. Il n'y a même pas de question qui se pose. On y va.
I know you want to sing with them, so you can sing, bro. I asked him, like, of course you want to sing with them, but I guess in one point you just really want them to get the top 5. Do you think it? You believe it? It's like, I don't want to jinx it, but of course I believe it. Like, they're looking right good now, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna make to the big finals, and we're here for that, whatever. This is group stage. We are more interested in the finals. If we believe, they believe, we're gonna make it. Basically, they are ready. On va tout casser ce soir.
Je crois pas que vous connaissez. On sort de nulle part. Un repère de bâtard. On va tout casser ce soir. Oh, les mecs. Je crois pas que vous connaissez.
Foutez-moi le bordel.
On sort de nulle part. Un repère de bâtard. On va tout casser ce soir. Vous connaissez, on sort de nulle part, roster de bâtard, on va tout casser ce soir.
Here we go, we're here, guys. Go to the finals.
Thank you, Luti. I love the energy of the crowd, not only from them, but also the crowd we have seen. Falcons have been performing as well. But honestly, we got to talk about NIP because even though they haven't gotten a win, that team still finds themselves in first place.
Look good, man. I mean, the kill tally is just odd. Well, considering that they're putting themselves out of the main final circle fights, they're just kind of surviving. It's just been all the early and mid-game runs.
I mean, this is kind of the Nip playbook, to be honest with you. This is King AJ rolls up to land and goes, yeah, I'm going to slam everybody. And that's exactly what he does, which is a great way to get out of group stages. But I'm like, does this work when you get to that final lobby? And when we've seen, it kind of doesn't.
The pub storm strategy doesn't always fly, does it? But hey, Shout out the G2 pick. I think it was place.
Yeah.
Coming out of nowhere going, I think G2 are going to win. Something to that effect.
I mean, G2 ended up performing well. AGAL, we were talking about them, wanting them to bounce back. They were able to bounce back, Dandro.
Yeah, it's really fun to see AGAL up here because Knight is a new addition to this roster, and he is shooting nukes right now. He had almost double the kills of both of his teammates coming into that game, and they are playing lights out right now. Kind of questions from the community of would they even make it out of this group stage after a very lackluster Atlanta. But here, I think they now maybe had a lot of those learnings, and now are making sure that they are getting at least out of the survival stage.
And I think the in-game calling just really shows up on this map that obviously has been around for a lot longer than Haven's Hollow, where, again, in the first 2-3 circles on Haven's Hollow, they're finding kills, they're just not surviving to get the multipliers. Now, all of a sudden, you go back to what we've been playing for the last 3 years, and they're like, okay, we know where we're dropping, we know how we're rotating, and if, like you mentioned, Knight, if he keeps shooting like this, these guys have a real solid chance to make it not just out of their group, but potentially top 5 if they can place well.
And on this last match, we saw Godlike being able to just hold that boat for the longest time. And it was none other than let me actually see if I get the Trick.
Yes.
Trick was just straight up just getting all the kills.
Yeah, Trick needs some help. He needs some help, man. I mean, it's has been the story all year long is that Trick is going huge, but I'm waiting for those games where Nate Dogg and Intex can start to get into the mix because that's when the team's having success. It's not enough just for Trick to be going sicko mode. He needs both of the teammates to help him on out as well.
Dan, as the long-term resident Warzone expert, are you seeing anything in this stage so far, or at least in this group, that's a shock to you?
I think what's shocking, it's going to sound like an oxymoron, what's shocking is how, like, expected it is. It's like, we're all like, I think this team should do well, but, you know, you kind of come in, land, you look at Group A, you had some teams who you're like, hey, I'm cool, they're up at the top. But for Group B, I think we're kind of like, all right, yes, check. Okay, Leviathan's right on the outside, AGL's right on the outside. Oh, okay, cool. This is kind of going maybe how we expected just a little bit. So I think that's what's the most surprising to me, which is weird to say, like, it's surprising that it's going as expected.
We all said it would go this way, and it is. I mean, that's not to say, again, you got to believe. At this point of a tournament, anyone can still win it. But right now, the heavy hitters are hitting the hardest.
Yes. I mean, let's even talk about Leviathan because they started off hot. They have slowed down a little bit in this last match, but if we go back to the first games, I mean, they ended up in 7th place with 14 kills. Then follow it up with the 3rd place, 10 kills. But after that, this last match, it wasn't up to par.
Yeah, they're floating, but there hasn't been anything that you look at, whether they've been on screen or you just watch them on the map, that says, oh, they're dominating. Yeah. Like, it's just been kind of okay, which is fine for now. They're going to avoid being in the bottom 3, but in terms of making it not just through this group, but also possibly through survival, they need to find a moment. And anyway, I think just first part of the map, mid part of the map, end of the game, whatever it happens to be, they just need a moment.
Yeah, I think what people forget is this Leviathan roster looked really good at Birmingham, right? That's how they got here. They qualified through Birmingham. They showed up to Atlanta, and they didn't even make it out of the group stage, right? Yeah. So that's just the kind of thing. I think they're kind of getting their feet back underneath them for being on a LAN together. You got a young gun and Criminal God who's absolutely insane, but you got to wonder, is this maybe some of those LAN jitters coming back? You have Atlanta kind of sitting in the back of your head. You got to kind of beat the boogeyman, maybe, if you want to try and start to get back into the game.
I mean, again, looking at this top 8 so far, still very, very close in terms of the scoreline. So plenty still to change there on that first page. No worries for many, many of those for a fact, I hope.
And I think the only other thing to kind of point to, and I know there's been some, JD Gaming up there, but this is what they do. They kill, they slay. I think the big kind of interesting point as we finish off the back half of this group is what's going to happen with Team Orchid. I also feel like they have not necessarily had a convincing moment. They had high ground in that last little fight at the end, but weren't able to survive through it. So it just, again, feels like they need a moment as well.
And as we go towards the second page, you can see new icons there with just 9 points. Godlike, honestly, luckily, they had a good match in this last one. If not, it would have been looking terrible, just like new icons right now.
Yeah, and I think they just need to kind of pick it up. I'm also surprised to see For Fun at the bottom as well. I think this is For Fun. Their biggest competitor is themselves. I think they need to do a little bit better.
They were my pick coming into this one. I mean, I saw the social media posts. I'm excited to see a turnaround, but mate, it's not too late. It's not too late. There's plenty of time. Not over yet.
It's only 3 matches too, right? Yeah. We only start waving. When was it earlier that we actually started waving some flags? I wanted to start like really waving some flags. You were just like, it's okay, let's just a little bit.
I mean, still the full day.
Yeah.
But at the point of, if you find yourself in the bottom half of that second page after day 1, you're scrambling. So need to step it up if you're one of those bottom 3 teams in particular, especially if you only have 9 points. What are we doing?
Yeah. You gotta hit the VOD review. That's all I say. Spend your night. Don't wall out. Hit the VOD review. Hit the firing range. Fire your gun. Please do something.
Or they're gonna be hoping that they can do something here in Rebirth Island coming up. If not in the last 2 games of Fortune's Keep as well, they could be looking to maybe see their fortune change a bit.
Hey. Hopefully. I mean, Fortune's Keep, as far as maps go, again, I love how each map really does have a different flavor. Some teams looking a little nicer on them than others, but at a competition like this, you have to have a deep pool. 3 doesn't seem like a lot, but you have to be consistent across all 3.
Well, that's what's so exciting with the Esports World Cup is because like every LAN, we've added a map to the map pool.
Yeah.
And before coming into this, when you looked at, like Atlanta and even just in the community, it was teams were either really good at Haven's Hollow and dog water at Rebirth, or they were the flip. Now that we have Fortune's Keep here, there's actually like some opportunity where if you're not good at one of those maps, you say, okay, we just have that 3rd map in our back pocket. We can get some stuff. And especially where Fortune's Keep, it's very defensive. You saw it in Group A. We had that map where you have Resurgence get disabled. We still have 13 teams in the lobby, right? Everybody is just trying to do what they can to stay alive. I love that we have this new edition of the map.
The only bad news is Falcons are currently the best team on Fortune's Keep as well, I think. So
you had a chance.
So we're expecting another 2 wins? Is that what we're saying?
I don't know about 2 wins, but top 5s for sure.
I mean, they already gave us 2 wins out of 3 matches. I think it's maybe possible and doable for them. We saw Soken just go, calm down, all right? Just calm down. He wasn't wrong. Everybody, calm down. They ended up winning those 2 matches back-to-back as well. Going into the second half here for Group B, which team are you going to be looking at, Dandor, to maybe either step it up or just continue on that consistency?
I mean, it's a couple of those teams that we mentioned, right? I am looking at Godlike and For Fun, who we know can be, a much, much better team. I am looking at teams like Leviathan, who we're got a lot of fans here. I think they need that energy. Hopefully the break helped a little bit. It's just a couple of those squads that you really expect to do super well that aren't right now, that I'm like, okay, this is your opportunity. You had your break. You went to the bathroom, get some water, recenter your team. Now play like you know you can.
I'm looking at Team Orchid. I think with just the recent buzz and the trend that they've been able to put together, I'm going to see if they can actually convincingly win a moment. Just have any sort of a moment as we finish off Rebirth and go to Fortune.
I'm not going to be biased whatsoever, Miles. I think I'm going to be picking Leviathan because I want to see if they can. Not biased whatsoever. I'm hoping that they'll end up performing well. And I know across them that we do have Team Falcons, which Lace is currently with them.
Well, I found myself with the Falcons fans, and this is just after 2 back-to-back wins. Now, obviously, you're going for the Team Falcons, and them to have 2 wins in a row. Is there anything you want to say to the Falcons players?
Actually, it's not our first time. We're back. We're going back-to-back. We already went back-to-back the World Cup. We have 2 World Cup now, and we are coming here to just support Falcons because we have, let's say, we are believe in this team. In all 8 games, we will win this World Cup. We will take it triples at their time in the row.
I mean, it's only the group stages, but you're saying the Falcons are going to win the entire. Falcons!
We will take this World Cup to Riyadh. It's an arm. بطال بالعرض فالكون هز الارض بطال بالعرض فالكون هز الارض بطال بالعرض فالكون هز الارض. We will talk this cup to Riyadh.
I mean, you can feel the energy. You can hear it here for the Falcons. And of course, these guys are going to be rooting for them for the whole thing. Let's go, Falcons!
Let's go, Falcons!
Listen, man, I love LAN events. Like, audiences like that, crowds, teams cheering themselves on. It's so dang cool to see folks cheering on their favorite team and saying, no worries, we're going to win everything. And right now, I think Falcons fans are probably the most confident for good reason.
Coming to Paris, I thought the Green Suites would have their hands full with vitality in terms of crowd presence. But seeing Leviathan show up, seeing Gen G show up, Falcons show up, there's so much support from all the different regions that we have right now for the Warzone Resurgence series, and that's the part that I love for these guys. Because you can look at the stage, you can see the Falcons go back-to-back on Haven's Hollow and Rebirth Island, and, maybe Hisoka wants to stand up to calm everybody down, but he doesn't need to get hyped because he's got his fans behind him getting loud for him. I mean, it's great to see the presence from the community. It's great to see the fans show up.
I really like what the desk talked about. I think there was a lot of fantastic points, and I agree with all of them. The one that I could slightly disagree with, if I could be so bold, is the fact that, yes, everything's going to script, except for one team in particular in my mind. NIP, I know they hyped them up, but NIP should not be doing as well as they are right now. They are crushing it if everything was going to script. So this is a big one.
And they haven't even won a map.
I know.
That's the big thing. You're getting a lot of kills. You're getting into, close placements towards the top, but you haven't gotten that map win under your belt. You're sitting in first with 63 points. Vision, AJ are having a fantastic game in a tournament right now in terms of kills. But if you can put that win below your belt alongside these kills, that is going to be what sets NIP apart.
You got to remember, NIP didn't make the final lobby at LAN at either Birmingham or Atlanta. This is not going to script for NIP. They got 6th in EU Finals, missing LAN. They got 9th in EU Finals, missing LAN on Birmingham. They are crushing it right now, and they have the firepower to do it. Wars moved off this roster to coach them because things weren't working. It's now working. They got to keep up the pace.
I got to shoot some content with them, too, the other day, and it was just trying to get any strategy out of them was impossible. They were so locked into the tournament. You could tell that their focus was just on performing, being there for their organization. They got to boot camp with NIP before coming to Paris as well out in Sweden. So the fact that they're getting love from their organization, they're starting to piece the whole puzzle together during champs. I mean, they're hitting strides at all the right times.
Yeah, it's a big moment for them. Of course, we're still in group stages, and we're still day one of group stages. So hopefully this is the light at which they desperately needed to hold a flame and wave in the air, and that will continue. But very easily, that light could be snuffed out quickly, even if it is on day 2.
Well, let's kind of shift our attention away from, the success story of NIP. We saw the bounce back from G2 as well, but we had Gentlemates start off the day with a win, and now they're caught in a little bit of a stalemate on Rebirth Island between both NIP and Leviathan. And I think that that's something that we got to talk about, because the desk made that precedent of, okay, what's going on with Leviathan, because they were top 4 coming out of Haven's Hollow. You go to Rebirth Island and you're just playing the regain over and over again. They were struggling in their drop towards Stronghold against Gentlemates and NIP holding them.
Well, good news for Gentlemates fans is that they are a strong Fortune's Keep team. Currently on our rankings, they're 3rd overall in just raw points. There's not as much data for Fortune's Keep, but they actually have a pretty strong position on Keep once we get there. If things don't go catastrophically, papers in the air, everybody throw their strategies out the window and land on some of the top teams. So with that in mind, I think you just want another solid, passable game from the Gentlemates here. Hopefully they maybe get a Southern Zone this time and be able to play through Living, maybe win out in Stronghold or something like that. But either way you look at it, they're not in a bad position. There's no question about it.
And then for Leviathan, it's just hold Stronghold as best as you can. I mean, it's one of the toughest positions to break from any team. So if you get a good zone pull, you're able to not get bullied away from your POI, then that's where Leviathan can also battle against those 2 teams as well going into game 2 of Rebirth Island.
Here we go.
See these drops.
Exact opposite story for Leviathan. They need to get back online soon. Fortune's Keep has not been favorable to them. Let's see how things change. Second map of Rebirth Island. A lot of things to talk about, but the first one is we see Leviathan landing prison. They're in showers right now, trying to figure out if Stronghold's not the game plan. Let's get active.
And it's because the zone pull right away does not lead Stronghold's side. They leave Gentlemates alone. We don't want to deal with you. Let's just make sure that we get some good position and some early KP.
Here's NIP already getting some of those kills that they need. Put some points on the board early. They've been doing this every single game and finding decent multis. Looks like NI not going to go down without a fight. Quick look at the scores on the right-hand side. Continues to tell the story that we've been telling. Gentlemates, Falcons, NIP, and JDG, who, yes, have been doing what they did in Atlanta, but even a little bit better, averaging over 14 kills a game right now through the first 3. JDG on a heater. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Yeah, they're technically the second highest in kills right now. And that's 5 off of NIP. And they were regaining all game Rebirth Island. What?
Watch out.
Leviathan are eliminated.
Leviathan first team out confirmed. Do not see them on the map. They change things up and they go deep into the blender. They're going to be on the second half of that leaderboard going into Fortune's Keep. They desperately need to turn the tides. But back to the action for fun. Another team now bottom of the leaderboard trying to work their way up. They're trying to win out in control. A little bit different play from them, and they swing through and immediately get the trades. Well done to put KGV on their heels. Weren't expecting this aggressive of a push from For Fun, who believes they can win this fight. And so far, They're 100% correct.
And it's exciting to see what's going on in Control because you know Godlike is in the docks and they had such a good game on Rebirth Island. Trig was firing away. So you look at Control Center to see who can battle against Godlike and what's going to go on down there as we kind of bounce around, see what's going on. There's actually been some movement over towards Stronghold and Gentlemate's down there now playing up against a team contesting them. That's going to be Nemesis.
You can see that happening in the kill feed. Pause of Current for Fun, still trying to win out of Control. Vidati's actually on 4 up on the north side, the top side rather, of Control, so doing a good job of picking up some freebies, but For Fun feeling like they hunt one down, and they're able to do just that. A 3v1 is quite easy for Fun, but they desperately need some kills, and they need a banger. Not a good game, a banger, because they are way down at the bottom of the leaderboard. Quick check-in, though, at Factory. Let's see what F&C are doing. Only a couple kills to boot across the board and trying to figure out if they have control over Factory and can go hunting or need to play defensive and hold this POI. For now, nice and easy.
Predict's already on 4 kills as well, so that is big for VC down towards the bottom of Factory. And they're also a team that's going to look to give Fnatic a little bit of a tough time. You can see Predict is farming right now. 6 kills off the bat in Factory. He's going to move Fnatic elsewhere as they try to regain.
Oh, man, that's a bummer. Look, we all have broken legs. Everything's fine, but 2 down means you need to desperately run for your lives. More action on screen here. Well, our team continues to hunt down JDG. JDG do slap back. Slappy on 5 currently. Get the heck off our boat here over the Factory side. Unfortunately, gets put in too much of a blender this time around. A little too cracked for his own good. FLS floating in the water, trying to keep his team up and not get full wiped. As somehow, the Vicious Brett has 7 kills playing through Factory.
He's on 17 for the group so far for his team. So big at a Predict. What a challenge. JDG FLS smoked. And it's not even going to be done. You can see that JDG are still trying to recover back over towards the Factory because you went over and tried to take JDG out of the game. Gentlemates are going to humble you.
Well, I mean, good news, bad news for the Gentlemates. The Anchor was out in Stronghold and gets obliterated. Living Quarters out of the zone as well. And so, yes, you hunt down a kill, but now Inkyo's last alive for your team, and you got to slow yourself back down. And look at the map. You got to still rotate through Living to even get to the zone. A fairly identical zone to the last map. This one, a hair more north, should pull up onto the Control side for the late part of this game.
There's about 25% of this map that's maybe not solid right now. You're either in the water or you just can't play in it. So that is going to leave a lot of questions for this rotation in through Factory and Living Quarters, as a lot of teams are coexisting towards the bottom of this hill. Moving into Headquarters is going to be difficult. You can see that NIP are sitting there watching. And we look towards the north side. You see that AG Global, again, good map 1 on Rebirth. See if they can follow up with the good map 2 as well.
Yeah, I like that quick check-in there with AGAL. Knight on 5. Team's doing a great job of controlling Turbine. It's actually For Fun leaving Turbine to go play Control at the very beginning of this map. Let AGL kind of breathe a little bit more on the map, and they seemingly have found a foothold on a great spot in zone, and with some kills to boot. AGAL having some momentum right now. Take a look at the Falcons, though. We haven't checked in with them in a while because they've been chilling. They go get really aggressive over at G2 and immediately get obliterated. Yes, Anchor and Chem. Yes, Falcons will be fine, but even still, G2 hold their own against the top dogs.
G2, again, a big story coming into Rebirth Island was, can they bounce back after a terrible map 1 and 2 on Haven's Hollow? Map 1 of Rebirth, the answer was yes. Map 2, so far, they're putting Falcons in their place, so it's good to see that from Anxiety. Still in the kill feed with Big Man 2. 15 trios still alive. Closing in on the second circle, just a minute 13 to work up the hill towards Headquarters for a lot of these squads.
And again, NIP getting Headquarters for free gives them so much flexibility on this map where their fraggers can go get kills, whether they're playing defensive and teams try to chow them after they've established their foothold, or if they're just picking up freebies up at the top of the tower. Either way you look at it, NIP, a great spot here in Rebirth Island. I'm not sure they're going to have things like this for free in the next later stages, but for now, take it while you got it. As we swing back over to the fight at Control Center, Godlike trying to finally get some action and cause some chaos rather than wait for everybody to come to them. Does look like they've got a decent position here on the second floor of Control. A couple teams underneath and on top.
Yeah, because they gave up dogs, Gentlemates have kind of had the free rotation into the circle to take control of the boat. So that's going to be difficult for Godlike to retake it.
Yeah, you're going to remember Gentlemates had to regain somewhere, and it felt like the boat was mostly free. Usually to the water we go. Flank sends one back up into the skies. That's 3 for him. For fun, doing a great job of still battling in the blender that is Control Center, but they continue to find a foothold.
Now everybody's going to be moving over towards the docks. This is where, for fun, if you really wanted to, can third-party a couple of these teams. It's about to get pretty messy down there.
Yeah, kind of. Sometimes it's tough to leave Control Center, though, because this is such a power position in the current zone. If you leave to go get kills, great, but you have to be able to come back and retake it. It's a risky play, and it looks like For Fun gonna try to stick into control while the fight happening at boat continues on. We take a look at the Falcons. They are gonna have to rotate. It's actually JDG who's got FLS out here. Wow. Winning a 1 against Dongi. Does get traded out, but got the full regardless. His team's safe over at Turbine. They're chilling, pushing out AJAL. So everything's fine for JDG. They are very comfortable right now in Group B. They continue to put point after point on the leaderboard.
I'm just going to say, this is the first time so far we've seen in this block Falcons getting farmed on a map. They haven't been able to leave Chemical Engineering. A lot of these teams are doing a good job at keeping them on a leash. Looking back towards Fnatic, though, they're sitting in the harbor. They got to move up this hill, but they are being contested right now against the Vicious.
The winners of LATAM North need to make some bigger waves here in Group B if they want to continue to try to advance in this tournament. So far, fairly sleepy. Volcom wins 1, though, sending Solds back to the skies. Our Resurgence timer is about to close. That player will come back on timer, but everybody else will not in about 60 seconds. Oh, no. Gentlemates go down. In the meantime, a big fight outside of the map, out in the water. The Gentlemates get wiped trying to regain. Bad news for the Gentlemates fans. That's 14.
It looks like a lot of teams are going to be looking to regain their way through. Gentlemates get eliminated, like you said, but inside the water, a lot of people just trying to look to get into Turbine, and that's going to create a little bit of friction on this rotation. You start to see now Falcons moving away from Chemical Engineering. NIP have left the headquarters. You see Fnatic working up the hill into the prison, and who's waiting at the prison? It's Orchid.
I've seen AGAL in the kill feed holding the line at Turbine. I told you it was a fantastic spot on the map, and they've done a great job just holding the line while For Fun try to hold out in boat, but no, they go down in 12. What could have been a solid game for them turns into another disaster as the Aussies strike while the iron's hot and now get swung on by Godlike. So Levi goes running for the hills.
Falcons just down to 1. It's going to be a floater back on in. G2 holding Industries. We move closer yet again. Turbine safe. The end of prison is safe. Industries is safe. And the bottom of the dam is where a lot of people are probably going to look to regain.
Quick look at the map. The best 2 teams by far in terms of position is going to be G2 and Industries, and it's going to be AGAL and Turbine. They've been there since the beginning as Swizzin wins another 1 over the top. He's on 8. Make it 9 with Sariel's help. This Orchid team has been asked to step up and make a play. So far, so good, making it into the multiplier. But can you do a bit more?
Swizzin on 26 kills for the group. Carrying Orchid at the moment. Dongi goes down, and it's again Falcons still just trying to find anywhere to live. Again, are going to have to drop back into the map. They're going to land Chemical Engineering, try to work their way back in the kill feed. It's AG Global scumming against NIP, sitting inside of prison.
This is an important fight as AGAL continue to roll through Turbine with kill after kill after kill. Orchid have the top side. Fnatic try to creep up to second floor and make a play. The Falcons, where can you regain? Maybe you glance at Kim. It's out of zone, so you have to swing into the bottom side of Industries. Who's here? It's actually JDG. Melvin gets caught by surprise and then actually swings and wins his ones. It's going to be Noobs down as the solo, and they get obliterated. The Falcons finally will not get a top 5 position with a little bit of help of PA over the top. Big man credited that kill. JDG reaped the rewards. They have Industries, but the zone goes straight to Turbine. AGAL, the Prophets, pull the zone and have sat in this position since the very beginning of the game. Will it finally be time to say that FIFA Kills team could potentially be a contender for a top 5 as Swizzin, Orchid are going huge in trades against Fnatic. Swizzin cannot falter. He will not fall. He's last alive for his team, but he's able to escape and get out of dodge.
That's going to be full clearance of Turbine. You're worrying about Nemesis. NIP still have a latent hold, and Fnatic are working through prison. But at the moment, AG Global have the best position in the circle, and everybody's got to come to them.
they've got to have like 12, 13 kills at least playing inside a turbine. Unbelievable job thus far, and everybody has to go to them.
The only 3 trios left is going to be Nemesis. You still got AG Global all 3 up, G2 all 3 up, JDG all 3 up, and well, I was going to say the Vicious, but they actually lose in transition. That's going to be VC contesting.
Looking for top 5, though. John's 12 kills. The Vicious having a banger map, but deeply in trouble inside the gas, trying to slowly sneak their way in. They actually get a buy, so they're going to float back into the map and figure out if they can hold on for dear life. They got to get top 5.
NIP get a God pull, and they're looking for 5th position still. Showstopper and Vision, if they can come back, that would be a godlike play for the team in first.
Bradke is going huge right now. 12 kills is nuts, but they desperately need top 5. He's actually going to die to gas. Teammates potentially still alive. We swing over, though, as King AJ, last alive for his team, still with the zone pull, is picking up a couple of these players in transition and will get the buyback. This is what you asked for, Seymour. Somehow NIP have held on for dear life and made it to top 5.
And somehow AG Global are now in the worst spot of this entire circle. You get the buyback too, and Vision's gonna join AJ. Things have turned around for NIP.
Unfortunately for the Vicious fans, they do not get top 5. They do not get their all too elusive 1.4x multi. The big question now as G2 falls is who will win this map. JDG might be the most consistent team in the lobby thus far as they yet again get to a top 5 position and a chance to win a map. But Swizzin as a solo on 12 this map, nearly 6k damage. Can he pull off a miracle against the JDG roster who are in complete control right now?
3v2, V1v1. It is going to be JDG against the world, and Melvin, he is sweeping them under the rug. 3v1v1.
Again, NIP, a great zone pull as we swing back to prison. Vision on height, nice trigger discipline. No need to shoot there. I'm sure they saw him. Nothing to do for now. They're going to go low side. He will take high side. Scumman's on double digits himself. And to be honest, this is all you needed from AG Global. If they can get anything else, fantastic. It's cherry on top, but they had a banger map, and they were already in a decent position.
Look at the health on JDG. That's not good. Vision still is able to sit, and it's going to be a pull towards the top. JDG have positioning over both of these players.
Yeah, with stems, I mean, that was the right play. They go in, lose a bit of health, stem up, plate back up, but they made the early rotation. So a great play from JDG on the low side.
They're going for height.
I mean, they have player advantage. They can basically do whatever they want. The only thing they can't do, well, it does look like actually they do have some more stems. So yeah, they could play for a heal off if they really wanted to, but they want these kills.
Good luck.
JDG is on a heater, and there's another freebie on top. Sorry, Visions, you go down. Still a top 5 there for NIP. Great job from him. Where's the final player? Can we hunt out the rat?
But I'm convinced that you could drop a nuke on JDG, and it's still not enough to wipe them. A win in map 4 is gonna shoot them up the leaderboard. What a way to stay alive through industry, through bio, into the prison, and keeping everybody intact all the way through, seeing it done.
Yeah, shoot them up the leaderboard. They were already top 5. They're going to be at the top. I mean, that's a win with a ton of kills. And again, I'll tip my hat to AGAL all the day. They had, unfortunately, all the best pulls until the final pulls of the zone. Once they get pulled out of Turbine, they have to fight uphill into prison. And there's a full team of 3 JDG playing from Industries holding them, then able to get the prison for free with a great rotation early. JDG, it just felt inevitable that they would eventually get a win, especially with Falcons off the map. A bit more free for them. They've been playing near flawlessly throughout the course of Group B.
This is incredible. I mean, they're 5 kills ahead of the second place in terms of kills, but 13 points ahead of the second place team.
They're one of the most consistent teams here. There's no question about it. Here's a look back on the final moments. They were the only team with a full team of 3, and so this was an inevitable win for them. Scumman put up a nice fight here. Nice little play over the top. Almost trades one out on Slappy. Let's listen in.
Good stuff. Light work. Fuck where the sound is, bro.
Nice work. It was clinical. JDG all too comfortable here in the group stages.
And I gotta say, I mean, this is a team that going into EWC, we knew that they're consistent in just staying alive, getting to those end circles. If they can start kind of putting together the puzzle pieces of kills to go alongside it, that's where JDG levels up. And talk about a performance on Group B, a performance on day one. Melvin's got 27 kills, Slappy's sitting on 21 kills, and FLS 19. So everybody's pulling their weight.
To add emphasis to the dominance of JDG, Rebirth Island traditionally has been their weakest map, actually by a country mile.
Upgrades.
On the other maps, on Rebirth Island, Fortune's Keep, they've been a very strong team. Rebirth Island, they've been fairly weak. Now, of recent, they've been getting into final form, but still, to see them this consistent across the board in a group that's still fairly strong, really impressive stuff from JDG. But again, I know our AG Global fans are going crazy for a banger map like that. The big question mark in my mind, how many kills did the whole team pick up? I saw FIFA kills name in the kill feed at least 5 or 6 times. It's going to have double digits as well. Folks, we got some content, we got some interviews, we got a ton of stuff to take a look at before we get into Fortune's Keep. 2 more maps today.
Playing You're Not Yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
JD Gaming, our winners of match number 4. I kind of feel like this is a bit of a sleeper team. We've been talking about the Falcons, we've been talking about Gentlemates, but JD Gaming have just come out of nowhere to reach that top Enigma.
Yeah, they certainly have. They're led by a fantastic leader called FLS. He's a Swede, he comes in. He's known as a bit of a brutal player. He's very critical of his teammates and will chop them if they don't perform. So stepping out here and delivering for them. He's making those comms, putting them in the right positions, and the boys are flying. So yeah, lovely to see them up there towards the top of the board. We all knew they could do it. It was whether they would do it, and they certainly are.
I mean, sometimes, you know, it comes down to the pressure of a LAN event, but it seems like they have just brushed that off their shoulders. Now, I want to move your attention maybe more to the middle of that leaderboard. And I was talking about G2 at the start and saying that, you know, these may be the underdogs and underdogs of Falcons, but it looks like they're not really being cohesive as a team. Do you have, like, any input or insight as to why they're probably not performing as, you know, best as Falcons?
We've talked about them for a long time as a squad that is fantastic online, less impressive when we get to LAN. Now, they did perform in Atlanta for the first time, and we were talking about them as, okay, this is the moment where they've stepped over that hurdle. Now it's about going to the very top of the podium. And unfortunately, it feels like some of those jitters are returning. We will give them time yet, but they have to start to figure things out because the questions don't just come from us, they'll come from inside the team too.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of draws me back to, I think, to match number 2. They were able to sort of control that west side, but then I think it was Leviathan that actually just pushed them out immediately. There was no kind of contention there, and then I found that Big Man had to deploy himself, like, I think it was in Mansion. Then he was able to flank a team, take down that 1v3, and finally finish in that 3rd place. And this is the kind of thing that you want to see from them, but more as that squad and more as that cohesive team. Yeah. And I mean, hopefully they can bring sort of something like that back. But like I said, yeah, the kind of the vibes sometimes hit a little bit different at a LAN.
They most certainly do. I mean, you've heard the crowd in here, you feel the lights, you can see the lights as we tan underneath them. They are, of course, feeling that pressure. They understand what it's like to step out on these stages. And when things don't start going well, it's easy to feel the pressure even more. Again, got time, but you have to start to step up and deliver. Anxiety, we know what he can do. We know the ceiling he has. It's the other two. Can they reach that same level? If so, they will fill that Dark Horse title.
Yeah, I absolutely feel if they can get that together, they can definitely succeed. And AGAL as well is something that I've been watching a close eye on too. In the earlier matches, they weren't sort of doing too much, and when they would take a contest against another team, they would fall flat. But now, I think they're sitting at about 3rd place.
Yeah, they're a very hot and cold team. They have the capability to take over lobbies. They also have the capability, unfortunately, to watch themselves get cut off a little bit at the knees. They've got to get off to them hot starts. And they're a very vibey team as well. They're feeling good, they're looking good, and obviously we want them to do incredibly well today with FIFA Kill on that roster. A lot of us got a lot of love for him. This might